Group means two or more individual, they work together, or two or more individual, they work in order to accomplish one common goal. So in the year 1920, Elton Mayo and his associates conducted the Hawthorne experiments and came to know that group behavior has a great impact on the productivity. Group dynamics deals with the attitudes and behavioral pattern of a group. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to one and all. I am Meghana from the Department of Commerce, lecturing in Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. In today's session, we are in the Unit 5 Session 1, that is group behavior. So in today's session, let us discuss with the group behavior, why it is important, what all are the advantages. So what all are the advantages of group behavior. So all this we are going to study under Unit 5. So let us start with the Unit 5. In today's session, let us discuss with the introduction, group dynamics and characteristics of a group. So moving further, let us start with introduction. So what do you mean by group? Group means two or more individual, they work together, or two or more individual, they work in order to accomplish one common goal. So here individuals, they work in order to achieve one organizational objective or one group goal. So in order to accomplish that goal, they are going to work together. So all the needs and wants, all the desires are come together to accomplish their goal. So now the needs and desire, the objective of the group is to achieve single objective. So now the objective is one. Now they have one objective. So they all work together to achieve those objectives. So it consists of number of individuals working together for a common objective. So your intention or your final goal is to complete the objective or fulfill those objectives. Group have a significant influence on an organization, so that you cannot separate group from the organization. So without the group, you cannot achieve your objective easily. So group efforts will help to fulfill your objective. Group efforts is a significant, it plays a significant role in the organization. So you cannot separate a group from organization. As an individual, you cannot achieve the organizational objective. So in order to fulfill the organizational objective, you need to work as a group or team. They are useful for the organization as they form foundations of human resources. Foundations of human resource. So as they work in a group, one individual can influence the other, so that it helps to bring the coordination and it helps to achieve your objective easily and quickly. The study of group behavior is essential for an organization to achieve the goal. So when you are working as a group, when you are working in a group, organization has to study the group behavior so that they make a decision. In order to make decision or in order to increase their efficiency, in order to motivate them, you need to study the group behavior, so that based on the group behavior, you can make decision. So here individual behavior will influence on the group, as well as group influence the individual behavior. So group helps to change the individual working pattern. So it helps to establish a coordination. While interacting with the group, it helps to change the individual efficiency and it helps to increase the individual efficiency. So group plays an important role in the organization. So in the year 1920, Elton Mayo and his associates conducted the Hawthorne experiments and came to know that group behavior has a great impact on the productivity. So while explaining the history and evolution of OB, we discussed about the Hawthorne study. So under Hawthorne study, illumination experiment, relay room experiment, various experiments were conducted in order to know what are the factors which influence on the individual behavior? What are the factors which contributes for the individual productivity? So one factor is a group. So group behavior will influence significantly, it influence on the individual productivity. So this study, Elton Mayo and his association conduct a Hawthorne experiment. Through this experiment, it is proved that group plays an important role. They influence on the individual productivity as well as to achieve the organizational objective. So that group plays an important role. The importance of group behavior has been realized from time to time. So post-industrialization and pre-industrialization stage. So before the industrialization, we don't give much importance for the individual needs and wants. So individual needs and wants as well as the group. So the individual, they work effectively and efficiently the tasks which are assigned for the individual. So after that, pre-industrialization, the job security as well as the job satisfaction was very less. They work effectively for their salary. So now the importance, individual needs and wants are more important for the individual. So now it is important to study the individual behavior as well as the group behavior. So group plays an important role in the organization. So it takes place importance from time to time. So now the study of an individual behavior as well as the group behavior is an important factor for the organization to achieve their objectives. The human behavior consists of individual who moves in group. So group consists of individual behavior. Two or more individuals work together to achieve a common objective. Here, two or more individual characteristics or individual behavior is came together to achieve one objective. So, the knowledge of a group behavior as well as the individual behavior is necessary for a manager. So, you need to study, the manager has to study the individual behavior as well as the group behavior so that you can manage, you can reduce the conflicts, you can handle the conflicts in the group as well as within the organization. It helps to make a better group and to achieve your objectives. So he must understand the group psychology and should also understand individual behavior in the context of group behavior. So the individual behavior in the context of group. So how an individual is going to react for the situation, how an individual is going to behave in a group. So individual contribution towards the group objective. So the manager has to study the individual behavior in the context of a group. So the contribution of an individual. So all this has to study. All this, the organization has to study all these concepts. So the group in which he moves influence individual work, job satisfaction and effective performance. So the group will influence on the individual work. So based on the group, the group influence the individual work as well as the job satisfaction, then effective performance. So the group will influence on all these factors. So this is all about group. Next, what do you mean by group? The definition of group. Group refers to two or more people who share common meaning and evaluation of themselves and came together to achieve the common goal. So two or more individual who shares the common goal. So the common goal is to achieve the objective. So to achieve the organizational objective or to complete a particular task. Then evaluate themselves. So they are going to evaluate themselves whether they can perform the task which are assigned for a particular group or not. So they evaluate themselves, then come together to achieve those objectives. So it's a two or more individual who shares the common goal and objective and evaluate themselves and come together in order to achieve those objectives. In other words, group is a collection of people who interact with one another. So it's a collection of people who interact with one another in the organization, accepts the rights and obligation as a member who shares the common identity. So who accepts the rights and shares the obligation, who accepts the rights and obligation to perform a particular objective or to perform a particular task. So it is considered as a group. So now we know what do you mean by group. Next, what is group dynamics? Group dynamics deals with the attitudes and behavioral pattern of a group. So attitude and behavior pattern of group. So manager has to study individual behavior as well as the group behavior. So now group dynamic means attitude and behavioral pattern of a group. So as a group, their attitude and behavioral pattern, their working condition. A group dynamic concerns how group are formed, what is their structure, and which process are followed in their functioning. So, what all are the basis to form this group? Like for the trainees, all the trainees are grouped together in order to get the training from their superior or from other teams. What is the basis for this group? How the group is formed? Then what is their structure? What is their structure? Higher authorities, superior, subordinates and team members. So all this, the group structure. Then which process are followed in their functioning. So how the functioning, how the group functions or how they are going to perform. So all this you need to analyze. So thus it is concerned with interaction and forces operating between the group. So it's an interaction between the group. We are going to study the interaction between the group as well as the group attitude and their behavior pattern. So this is all about group dynamics. So next, characteristics of a group. Irrespective of size, every group has a similar characteristics. So those characteristics are two or more person. In order to call it as a group, in order to form a group, at least minimum is a two or more individual, we can form a group. So individual, one person, it is not a group. If it is a one person, then it is not a group. So in order to call a group, it should be consist of two or more individual. So formal social structure. So there should be a formal social structure. The rules of the game are defined. So why this group is formed? Why the group is formed? The objective of the group, the final objective or task should be assigned. Rules and regulations should be defined. So next one, common fate. So all the group members work together, all the group members perform their activity in order to achieve one objective. So for all the members, for example, if it's a 10 members, all the 10 members, they work effectively, they perform their duty to achieve one objective. So common fate. Next one, common goal. So the destiny is same and emotionally connected. If individual achieve or individual fulfill his task, then it is related to, it is emotionally connected with all the group members. So if he fails to perform or if he done any mistakes, so it is again emotionally connected. It is connected with other individual as a group member. So they share a common goals. Next one, face-to-face interaction. They will talk with each other. There is a face-to-face connection with individual when you are working in a group. So these are the basic characteristics of a group. Irrespective of size or purpose, every group has a similar characteristics. So all the groups, irrespective of purpose as well as the size, these all are the characteristics every group has. So moving further, interdependence. So individuals are interdependent in order to take action, in order to perform their duty, they are interdependent. So next one, self-definition as a group member. Self-definition as a group member. What one is who belongs to the group. So you will define as a group, not as an individual when you are performing in a group. So now you will define as a group. So next one, recognition by others. So as you belongs to the group. So recognition by others. So when you belongs to the group, you will recognized as a group member, not as an individual. So it is recognition by others. So these all are the characteristics of a groups. Moving further, what all are the reason for joining a group? So why an individual will join group? So first one is a proximity. The first basic reason why the individual join a group is proximity, because you can work each other, you can connect with the individual, you can work near to others, so near or each other, so that the individual will join a group. So you can work with your friend or your colleague, so with your favorite one, so you can work. So first one is a proximity. For that reason you will join a group. So next one, security. So when you are working in a group, you will secure. The job security is more. So in order to accomplish the goal, the other team member, other group members will help you to achieve your objective. So there is more security when you are working as a group rather than individual. Next one, affiliation. When you are working in a group, you can share a common hobbies. You can work with other individuals so that you can share your hobbies and your feelings. So it helps the individual to build a better relationship between others. So next one is power. When you are working in a group, it gives power for an individual. So power in the sense, it gives two types of power. So it helps to unitedly you will stand. So as well as informal leader, it will give power for an individual in a group to make decision or to give command for the group members. So it gives power for an individual. Next one is esteem. So when you are working in a group, it helps to increase the self-esteem of an individual so that you will gain some confidence about yourself. So you can increase your knowledge and efficiency, and it helps to increase the self-esteem. So last one is task functions. So under task function, it helps to establish a coordination among the employee, as well as it helps to solve the complex problem easily. So all the group member will come up with an innovative idea so that it helps the individual to solve all the problems easily. Now you will get number of ideas and innovative ideas to solve one problem or one situation. Now you can understand the situation better. So that you can give the better results for the organizational objective, to achieve the organizational objective. So these are the reason for an individual to join group. So moving further, needs and importance of group. Needs and importance. So why it is important for the organization? So it improves the mutual understanding. When you are working as a group, when the individual is working in a group, it helps to understand, it helps to establish a coordination, it improves the mutual understanding. So next one, it improves the performance. So now you will learn from other individual, it helps to increase your knowledge, so that it helps to improve the performance. So next one, it brings new idea. So 10 members will come up with the 10 ideas, so that it helps to bring the new ideas and innovative ideas. So next one, it helps to developing a future executive. So now your knowledge and your performance is increased, so that it helps to develop a future executive. Now you will observe the commands and the instruction given from the leader or your superior, so that you will learn from your superior and your team members, so that it helps to increase your knowledge and to develop a future executives. Next one, solving work problems. So as I told you, you will come up with an innovative and new idea. It helps to solve the problem easily. So now you have a more option. So you can analyze the situation in a better way. You can give the best solution for the problem. You can handle the situation in a better manner. So next one, better coordination. It improves the coordination. It helps to establish a good coordination and good relationship among the individual. So next one, channel of communication. It enables easy for the leader or superior to give instruction. So channel of communication is also easy for the group. So these are the importance and need of group. Moving further, group norms. So what do you mean by group norms? Norms are acceptable standard of behavior. Norms are acceptable standards of behavior within a group that are shared by the member of the group. So acceptable norms. So when you are working in a group means, if the group members, 5 members are ready to work 24/7, is there any rules to accept this? Is there any rules to accept this command? No. So norms means acceptable standards of behavior. So if they ask you to work for 24/7, you are not ready to work. So the acceptable behavior. So you cannot expect 24/7 from the individual. So acceptable norms, acceptable standards of behavior from an individual as a group member. So norms defines the boundaries of acceptable behavior. For example, the group consists of 10 individuals. So the one individual will produce 100 units per day. But the other 9 individual, they can produce only 80 units. So you cannot expect 100 units from all the 10 members. So it depends on individual ability. So you cannot force the remaining 9 individual or group members to produce 100 units. So this is the boundary of acceptable behavior. If you force the individual to produce 100 units, the quality of the product will come down. So based on that, the boundaries, then the acceptable standards of behavior is considered as a norm. They are typically created in order to facilitate group survival. So if the group members or if the leader or the superior force them to produce the 100 units, again it's a problem for the group. So it may create a conflict as well as create some problem in the group. So it helps to facilitate this group norms, facilitates the group survival, then make behavior more predictable. So group behavior helps to predict your behavior. It helps to predict the behavior, individual behavior, avoid embarrassing situation, then express the value of group. It express the value of group. 5 members or 5 individuals are not ready to work, or if they are not accepting the rules and regulation, means it express the values of a group. Group members are important in order to achieve the objective. So their behavior, individual behavior plays an important role in the group. So they influence the group activity. So it expresses the value of group. So next, types of group norms. So we have 2 types. One is behavioral norm and work norm. So under that, first one is behavior norms. Behavior norms, these are the rules and guidelines which defines the day-to-day performance of people, a people at work. So it defines the individual working condition in the organization. So here this behavior includes punctuality as a habit, then performing the duty or complete the assigned task within the time framework, as well as not losing a temper, then give respect for the other's opinion, then not monopolizing the conversation, and so on. So these all are the day-to-day behavior of an individual, day-to-day behavior of a people at work. So it defines, this is the rules and guidelines to perform, rules and guidelines for the day-to-day behavior of an individual. So in this behavior norms, some of the professionalism is expected from the individual. So this professionalism can be predicted from the individual behavior. So based on the above behavior, based on the above rules and guidelines, you can predict the professionalism from the individual. It is related to behavior norms. So next one is work norms. So it is related to individual working condition. For example, in a team, one team consists of 10 members. So one individual, so he is more conscious, or is more effective, or is more interested in order to recognize an individual, so that he work effectively without break and without any facility or without anything. He worked continuously and he produced 200 unit per day. So you cannot expect the same productivity from all the 10 individual or all the 10 group members. So it's based on individual interest. It is depends on the individual interest. So average productivity, So average productivity you need to consider. So the below average is considered as a poor performer, so that you can motivate them or you can guide them, you can change their behavior through the various stages, various steps. You can take necessary steps in order to overcome, in order to improve those poor performers. So you cannot take this as a average, or you cannot take this as a standard productivity. So it is based on the individual interest. So now we will consider the average productivity, and we are going to divide the two group, above average and below average. Above average are acceptable. So the average is 100 units per day. So if individual producing 100 units means it's acceptable standards, acceptable standard norms. So if you are producing 120 means it is good. If you are producing 80 means it's below average. So that you will concentrate on this group member and you will motivate them. You will try to improve the individual performance. So that is work norms, the individual productivity in the group. So based on this average productivity or average standards, we are going to evaluate an individual and improve their performance. So these are the types of group norms. So behavioral norms, which is related to individual behavior in the working condition. Work norms, which is related to productivity and working condition in the organization, working condition as a member in group. So these are the types of group norms. Moving further, stages of development of group. Stages of development of group. So first one is mutual acceptance. In order to form a group, all the group member should accept, and then you can form a group, so that it helps to establish a coordination. So mutual acceptance is important in order to form a group. First step is to mutual acceptance. So after accepting, next step is communication and decision making. So after that, you will communicate with each other and you will make decision. So next one, motivation and productivity. So after communicating or after giving instruction and guidelines, then you will evaluate, you will motivate, and you will evaluate the individual performance and productivity, group productivity as well as the individual productivity. So last one, control and organization. So if the productivity is good means the control or the authority. If the productivity is good means then it requires less supervision. So based on the evaluation, you will control the individual performance. Then you will organize, you will improve the group activity or group performance. So these are the stages. First step is to mutually accept, then you will communicate and make a decision, then you will motivate an individual and productivity. Motivate an individual means motivate the group members, then you will evaluate the performance, group performance as well as the individual performance. Based on the evaluation, you are going to control and you are going to organize, you are going to make decision or you are going to make changes in the group activity to increase your efficiency and productivity. So these are the stages of developing a group. So next one is process of group development. So the process or step develop a group. So under that first one is forming. Under forming stage, individual will search for all these things like assignments. So if the individual work in that particular group or if he fulfills that assignment, then it gives reputation or it increases the knowledge of an individual. So he seeks for that assignment, or else it gives power. If he joins a particular group, it gives power for an individual, or else affiliation. Then it gives affiliation and it gives status for the individual. So under first stage, under forming stage, he will seek, individual will seek for all these factors. So after that, next one is storming. So under this, when the group is formed, you will find out other individual whose behavior or whose opinions are familiar. Behavior is familiar and similar characteristics or individuals are work together. So then you will find out the familiar familiar individual in order to interact. So after that you will start sharing or you will connect with that individual. So it influences the group. So it influences the group under storming stage. Next one, norming. In this stage, you will get serious and you will start working effectively. You will form rules and regulation, guidelines and norms in order to perform, in order to achieve your objective. So now in this stage, more importance for achieving the objective. You will form a rules and regulation guidelines in order to achieve those objective, and you will take a initiative to accomplish the goal. So under this stage, it defines the authority structure or the leadership structure. So who gives the instruction or who is the leader? So in absence of that leader, who will take the initiative or who will ready? The other members are ready to listen one individual. Who is that individual? So you are going to analyze, or this is under this step, this defines, it clearly defines the leadership structure. So after that, performing. So now the rules and regulations and guidelines are ready. So now you need to perform effectively to achieve those objectives. Here you will take the action to achieve those objectives. All the stages is for the permanent group. So last one, adjuring. So this step is for the temporary group. If the group is formed in order to achieve, in order to fulfill only one particular task or one particular goal. So after this task or after this assignment, the group can be dispersed or this group can be adjuring. So this step is only for that temporary group. So some of the individuals, some group members may be happy for this adjuring process. The other members may not be happy with this adjuring process. But the temporary group has to be adjured after achieving all the objective, after achieving the particular task or objective of that group. So these all are the stages of group development. This is all about today's session. In the next session, let us discuss with the types of groups and various other topics. So let us meet in the next session. Until then, keep watching. Thank you.